All right, let's dive in. Today, we're uncorking the stories behind some of the most sought-after, liquid treasures on the entire planet. We're going to count down the 10 most expensive wines in the world.
So, have you ever really thought about it? What makes a single bottle of wine worth more than a car, or even a house? I mean, these aren't bottles you just pop open for a dinner party. We're talking about the absolute holy grails for collectors. Assets so valuable, they're literally kept in vaults right alongside gold bars and priceless art.
Okay, so we're going to kick things off at number 10 and work our way all the way up to number 1. And as you'll see, for these bottles, the crazy price tag has as much to do with their incredible history as it does with the wine itself.
Kicking off our list at number 10 is a 1945 Chateau Mouton Rothschild. And this isn't a standard bottle, this is a 3-liter Jeroboam that's sold at a Christie's auction. Now the key here is the year. 1945 is famously known as the Victory Vintage, celebrating the end of World War II. It's just one of the most significant vintages of the entire 20th century. Oh, and get this, it's so iconic, it even got a shout-out from James Bond.
Coming in at number 9, we have a super rare white wine from Burgundy. It's a 2010 Montracot from the legendary Domaine de la Romanée-Conti. You want to know why it's so expensive? It's all about rarity. They only make about 250 cases of this stuff each year for the entire world. And to add to the legend, the wine comes from vines that have a 1,000-year-old tradition. Just incredible.
All right, claiming the number 8 spot is the most expensive white wine ever sold, an 1811 Chateau de Yquem. Now stop and think about that for a second. This sweet wine was produced while the Napoleonic Wars were still raging across Europe. It holds the highest possible classification for its region, and even after more than 200 years, it's said to be one of the greatest white wines still in existence. Wow!
At number 7, we see exactly how a direct link to history can just completely blow up a wine's value. This isn't just a bottle of wine, it's practically a time machine. This 1787 Chateau Lafite came directly from the personal cellar of none other than Thomas Jefferson, the 3rd President of the United States. Back in 1985, the publisher Malcolm Forbes paid over 100,000 euros for what is essentially a piece of American history that you can hold in your hand.
So our number 6 entry comes all the way from Australia, and it's less a bottle and more a straight-up work of art. The key here? Exclusivity. Only 12 of these 2004 Penfolds Block 42s have ever been made, and it's not even sold in a bottle. It's in this custom-designed glass ampule. But here's the best part. The most exclusive thing about it, if you ever decide you actually want to open it, a representative from the winery has to fly out and do it for you. Talk about service.
Now for our number 5 spot, we have one of the absolute strangest stories on this list. It's another bottle from Thomas Jefferson's collection, a 1787 Chateau Margaux. But here's the twist. This bottle's fame comes not from being sold, but from being destroyed.
So its owner at the time, a guy named William Sokolin, brought it to a fancy gala dinner. You can see where this is going, right? The unthinkable happened. A waiter bumped the table, and the entire bottle just shattered. Sokolin, obviously devastated, initially filed an insurance claim for $500,000.
So the insurance company eventually settled for about $225,000, which is roughly 230,000 euros. And that is how this bottle earned its place on our list, not by being sold at auction, but by its insured value after it was tragically lost forever. What a story.
Okay, we've now officially crossed the €250,000 mark. We are entering the top tier of our list, where the prices, the rarity, and the stories, they get even more incredible.
Breaking into our top 4 is a 1990 Domaine Leroy Messini Grand Cru. This wine is an absolute legend in Burgundy. It was one of the very first ultra-premium wines to be made using biodynamic farming. You know, that holistic approach that treats the vineyard like a single living ecosystem. That was totally revolutionary at the time. And with only about 700 bottles produced each year, that scarcity just drives the price to astronomical heights.
Our bronze medalist coming in at number 3 is a 1947 Chateau Cheval Blanc from Bordeaux. This giant 6-liter Mad to Sloan format bottle is considered one of the greatest wines ever made, period. It holds the absolute highest classification, Premier Cru Class AA, which is a status shared by only 3 other estates in its entire region. That really cements its place in the pantheon of fine wine.
And the runner-up at number 2 comes from Napa Valley, California. This 1995 Screaming Eagle Cabernet Sauvignon literally achieved perfection. It earned top scores from the world's most influential critics. But what really launched its price into the stratosphere was the context of the sale.
It was sold at a high-profile charity auction back in 2000, where bidders were willing to pay a massive premium for a really good cause.
And now, we've arrived at the summit. The single most expensive bottle of wine ever sold at auction. This is the absolute holy grail for collectors all over the world. The producer is a name we've already seen on our list, Domaine de la Roma dei Conti, known to insiders simply as DRC. Now, just to give you an idea of their prestige, an average bottle from this estate costs around 20,000 euros, but this one is anything but average.
The vintage is 1945. Yep, just like our number 10 wine, this one was bottled right at the end of World War II. But there's something else, something that makes this specific bottle a true one-of-a-kind historical artifact.
So what makes this bottle a true legend? It's this: the 1945 vintage was the very last harvest from the vineyard's original ancient vines before they were all torn out and replanted. It literally represents the end of an era. And to make it even rarer, a combo of frost and wartime conditions meant that only 600 bottles were produced. That's it.
In 2018, after a fierce bidding war at a Sotheby's auction, one of those 600 bottles sold for a staggering, record-shattering 570,000 euros. That, right there, is the most expensive bottle of wine in the world.
So when you look back at this whole list, it becomes crystal clear, right? The value isn't just about what's in the bottle, the grape, the region, the vintage. It's really about the story. It's the rarity, the history, and the prestige that transform a simple beverage into a priceless piece of history.
Which leaves us with one final thought. If one of these incredible bottles was yours, a piece of liquid history, sitting in your cellar, what would you do? Would you preserve the investment and sell it? Or would you gather your closest friends and family to actually taste a moment in time?